Okay, so I guess we'll just move on to the cryptid. We're going to be talking about the Beast of Dean.
Otherwise known as moose pig.
Yeah. So this week I will be arguing that moose pig was indeed a real creature, and I guess you'll be opposite arguing that. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you'll be arguing. You'll be opposing my position anyway.
Yes. And whatever you say, I'm against it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess I'll just read from the show notes. This is something from Gloucestershire in England.
The Forest of Dean.
In the Forest of Dean, and this story comes from 1802. So basically, there was a large creature that somewhat resembled a boar, but I guess the descriptions were way larger, that was operating in the area and knocking down trees, being a nuisance. I don't think it harmed anyone, or there's any mention of it harming anyone. But either way, eventually some local hunters from the village of Parkend managed to capture and kill the creature. And the line you'll get on like all the cryptid websites is that upon examination, all agreed that their prey was no boar they had encountered before, nor even any familiar indigenous species. After this, in March of 1807, the sightings stopped entirely for nearly 200 years, although I guess there's rumors that it may have escaped after it was captured and wasn't actually killed, because there's some kind of rumors that people heard the grunts and the roars of the creature even after it supposedly died. But we don't really get any other clear sightings until the 1990s. I think the late 90s, from two men who were going through the forest and they heard loud crashing and roaring, and a big shape chased them out of the Forest of Dean, that is. Where to begin? Well, currently, I guess if we work backwards, I think we might agree with the 1997 sighting that it might have just been one of the wild boar that inhabit the area, right? Because there are boar in the Forest of Dean today. I guess it's a group of wild boar that escaped from a local boar farm, and then another group that were illegally dumped near the forest that merged together. So that might explain any sort of recent enough sighting or anyone who heard something weird in the forest. However, if we go back to the 1802 sighting, there's the line that they all agreed their prey was no boar they had encountered before. Well, they shouldn't have encountered any boar, really, because boar had been extinct in England for apparently 300 to 400 years. So there shouldn't have been any boar there at the time. So that, I think the conclusion that I draw from that is that though the boar may have thought to have been extinct, perhaps there was a very small population of particularly large ones that I guess lasted an extra century or so, and that one of the last survivors, I guess, was this Beast of Dean that was tearing through the forests. So what are your thoughts?
So I agree that it doesn't seem that there is a Beast of Dean nowadays, and any sightings are just the easily explained group of wild boar that escaped from the farm. It seems that these boars were also hybridizing with farm pigs, getting bigger and being less afraid of humans. And so actually there was some people who said that they should be slaughtered, but the Forestry Commission said the low population density of the boar is good for the local environment, and you can cull them, but it's not necessary to get rid of them all. So it seems that there's just a self-sustaining wild boar population now. About the Beast of Dean in 1802 through 1807 and possibly after, I'm less sure, but what gets me is that the hunter said their prey was no boar they had encountered before, nor even any familiar indigenous species. But I couldn't find any description of what they found. Why would they be so vague and not even describe it? Unless I can't find it and it is out there. Like, why are they being so vague? And then, how come no one knows if they captured it or if it escaped? How come there aren't any drawings or pictures? How come we don't know what happened to it after they killed it? That's just sketchy. So it seems fake to me. Possibly they didn't even capture anything. They just said they did because, like I said, it's very weird and vague. And maybe there was something in there that was big, or maybe it was just some guy like illegally chopping down trees, because the description is noises and trees that were coming down. So maybe it was some guy who shouldn't have been in there cutting down trees, and the guys the hunters for clout.
Well, I guess if they're saying, I guess I am suspicious of the quote. Like I said, if there were no boar there for at least 100 years, then why are they saying, oh, this doesn't look like any boar I've seen? Well, you shouldn't have seen any boar at all. So,
Yeah. It's sketchy. I think that for his clout, they pretended like they captured something that they didn't, and no one apparently was curious to find out what they captured, and that's it.
well, I mean, I can see that they just captured and killed something, and then, like, I could see that not being that big of a story and that no one came to take sketches or anything.
Well,
I feel like if they captured it, they probably killed it. I can't imagine they captured like this wild. Or you know what? It could. What if it was just the way like when pigs go like escape into the wild and they go kind of feral.
yeah,
I wonder if it was something like that.
I guess so, but then why would they say it was no boar they'd encountered before? I'm sure they know what a pig looks like.
Well, it wouldn't have looked like a regular boar, right?
Okay, but either way, whether they caught something or not, they're being disingenuous. Oh, we caught something. It was like no boar they'd encountered before. So either that means, oh, we caught a pig, so it doesn't look like a boar, or we didn't catch anything. Haha. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Do you think there's any possibility that it could have been one of the few surviving boar, maybe in the wilds of Dean?
Well, if I'm not speaking from my viewpoint of the anti person, I'll say I guess it could be. It's very interesting to think that it could be a wild boar population. I always want to root for the animals that have survived despite intensive human efforts to get rid of them, especially in places like England where it's pretty much not at all the ecosystem it used to be.
Yeah.
So I would be excited if that's what it was. Yeah. I'm excited if that's what
Yeah.
it was, but who knows?
I suppose. I do feel like
It could have just been a big elk, or I mean, not an elk. It could have been a big deer that was just like toppling trees or something. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that. Oh yeah, I feel like that in the early 1800s, it would probably be easier for small populations of animals to exist on the fringe without people knowing than it would be today. So yeah, maybe it could have been something like that. Yeah.
Well, we'll never know, because even if these hunters hadn't been sketchy, now that there are so many pig boar hybrids out there, they might have hybridized with the beast of Dean, and then yeah, we'll just never know unless someone does a
Yeah.
genetic study of the pigs in the forest.
I feel like now there's no like imagine someone saying I saw the beast of Dean now, and it's like, well, you saw a boar,
Yeah.
unless it's like freakishly gigantic or something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're probably going to hybridize, so the big ones will become smaller and the small ones will become bigger.
Yeah.
One interesting thing is, I'd never heard of this, but I had heard of the Forest of Dean because in Harry Potter they hide in the Forest of Dean for a while.
Do they?
But there was yeah, they do. It's in the 7th book when they're hiding from they're camping out all the time because they're on the run. At one point they go to the Forest of Dean because Hermione used to camp there. But she never talks about pigs, and also no other characters. There's no mention of pigs. So
Missed opportunity.
I think, yeah, it could have been fun to have like this huge creepy boar thing come across their camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a shame. All right. Well, that was a very amiable cryptid court.
Yeah. So if anyone has any ideas about this, or if you're from England,
Oh yeah, some
especially
people
this
commented that
area.
they lived in the area actually on the poll.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh wait. What did they say?
They said, "Oh, I live around there" or something.
Did they say if they'd seen it or not?
No.
Oh, well, that's sort of not helpful.
Yeah, but if they're watching this now, they'll
Yeah, if you're listening, please weigh in and tell us what you think about our conclusions, or if you have your own ideas.
right. Hey, the Beast of Dean. Should we move on to the next section? So Q&A.